Hello everyone, we've done this last year, you guys loved it, asked for it again, so here I am to review your tanks. Well, this is something different. That's weird. I just like this tank. Okay, there are definitely problems in here. I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude. If you follow us on social media, you might have seen this post on Facebook or Instagram that we've asked you to send us your aquariums for me to review. And if you don't want to miss out next time, then keep following us on these social media platforms, because that's always where we announce these things. I'm going to talk about your aquariums today. A lot of you guys have sent in photos for this, a lot more than what we can actually go through in a video like this. So first of all, if your tank is not in the video, I'm sorry, it's nothing personal. It doesn't mean that your tank is not good enough or that it's so bad that I don't want to show it. Nothing like that. Simply, we just can't go through that many aquariums. Also very, very important, everything I say is about taste. You're gonna hear much more negative than positive. I'm sorry, this is the way I'm wired, so when someone asks me to review something, I'm trying to tell them how they could make it better, in my opinion, but I'm going to try to focus on positives as well, because I'm sure that you can show me some surprising stuff. Let's get into it. So this is a nice little setup. It's 30 something liters. Well, actually it looks bigger on the screen. What bothers me straight away, I know this is not for contest, that wasn't part of it, but if you ever want to show your tank to someone, and I guess you want to be proud of it, then please remove technical stuff. Why do you have a heater? We don't heat aquascapes. Most plants are best in 22 degrees Celsius. As for the tank, plant health looks really nice. All the plants in place. I see one weird thing. This small crypt, it looks like it's buried under these stones, and this part is looking a bit strange as well. I could imagine having some small plant in here like Staurogine repens or some kind of Anubias, which you have lots of in the tank already. It just seems a bit empty over there. And one more thing that bothers me a bit is this stem plant on the left, which is just, it's a bit off. It doesn't match the rest of the aquarium. The thinner-leaved plants in the background look much nicer and complement the rest of the scape a lot more. Here we have a nice 60p. Again, we've been through this technical stuff I don't need for the review, and in this case it actually distracts me from the scape. There's a bit of wood coming here behind the skimmer, but positives. I love the plant choice. I love how you went with some reddish stones, but not really red, more like pink. This resembles old school NA style aquariums. Biggest issue with the tank is front. It's not straight. If you ever want to enter it to contest, definitely fix that. Also fix the soil that came forward. You can see that it rolls through the hardscape in some places. Actually, I like it a lot. My takeaway would be this part is a bit weird for me. Seeing through, like the other side is so well built up and so well thought through. This part feels to me like you wanted to do something that's hanging, but there's no actual reason for it in the scape itself. The rest of the tank looks really nice. I also love these the shadows. It's not too much, not too little, perfect amount. Very well balanced on the two sides of the tank. Another small setup, 45 liters. I love how you have the stem plants in the front and they are healthy enough to actually show the bottom part. I love the color graduation. Front should be more straight, especially that you don't really have plants in the very front. So the whole front line could be this level. You don't need it this high. There's no purpose for it. Looking at the picture, I think this is visible from two sides, so I don't know how it looks from the other side, but if I look at it from this side, I'm missing another rock here. So you have these two sticking out, and I miss a big one somewhere sticking out of the Rotala bushes. We have a 50 centimeter tank here with the, now I think we can call it old school, with the tree setup. Biggest problem is the background. It seems like you have some kind of white background behind the tank, but it's not attached to the glass. That's why we use the vinyl backgrounds. I think it could be a little bit higher on this side, maybe even higher on this side. So the difference between the two sides height, that's fine. That it should be about that amount, but you should use more space on both sides. Sunset in the background, completely up to taste. I'm not gonna say anything about that. I love how it's part of the space combined with the Monstera next to it. That looks cool, but these fish are way too big for this tank. This is 30 something liters. These fish would need at least 60. Try to replace them with some small Rasboras, some nano fish. Also this plant in here, which I guess is Ludwigia, it's way too big. The rest of the tank is in ratio. So this on the left, it just overthrows the whole balance of the setup. Well, this is something different. I have no idea how you achieved this, but it's, on one hand, it looks really cool how the light comes through. On the other hand, it really looks like the tank is very, very dirty. Please, if you have, send me more information about how you got this look. This is a bit too shadowy, and I think the plants are a bit overgrowing this part, and this side is a bit too much shadows as well. Just compare these parts, which I've circled already, to this. You have so much detail in this part. I think the plants are in good condition. For something on your desk, this is really good. But if it's in your desk, why are you looking at all this stuff? Stuff like this laying around the tank, it for me takes away of the enjoyment of looking at the aquarium. Fish choice, not the best. Please replace them with something smaller. These fish don't belong in such a small aquarium. But let's look at the scape and the tank. Some algae problems and some moss dying here and there. I think that's algae as well on the wood. But the overall scape I actually love. I love these details, the wood coming down. I love how you used Anubias as one layer, and then there are Bucephalandras as a second on the wood, and then the Hygrophillas on the top. So this kind of graduation, this is a really nice planting technique. I also love the balance of colors. So the whole right side of the tank is green, and then the left side is red. Okay, here's another big one. It's 400 liters. That's a proper home for angelfish. I love them. Actually, my biggest recommendation would be not even for the aquarium, but for the Monsteras on top. I guess they're rooted inside the aquarium, which is really good. They take up lots of nutrients from the tank, and they're gonna grow crazy big. But only if you let them grow on the wall upwards. So put something behind the aquarium that they can actually climb onto, because these type of plants grow their really big leaves, and as they grow upwards, they don't like to grow spreading around as they would need to do in a setup like this. My usual stuff about having soil like this, I'm not a fan of this stuff, of having like half soil, half sand. I'm not sure if this was just recently trimmed, and then you suddenly needed to take the photo to send it in on time, or this is how you usually keep it. I would let it grow slightly higher, so like follow this line with the rotalas in the background. This single crypt looks a bit weird for me. I would put some smaller bushes in front of it, so in here and here and here. Maybe I would use some Marsilea hirsuta. Fish choice, perfect. And the guppies, love them since my Aquascape. They are much nicer fish than what they get credit for. Here we have a newcomer to the hobby. Well, I have to say, for first try, congratulations, it's nice. Obviously, after 1 month, these should be trimmed, and then the bottom will get a lot denser, which will make them look nicer. Actually, on this side, I love it. It would be great if there was a way to keep these plants in this shape. It loses this look as it grows, and it would be amazing to keep them like this. This is not up to you. You can't decide about this. What is up to you? And you can actually, I think, evolve in this scape without rebuilding. This rock is standing straight up. I would tilt it in a way that it sort of stands like this. This piece of wood, either take it out or place more wood. But having just one piece of wood, and especially on the very side of the aquarium, it completely throws the balance of the setup. But yeah, first try after 1 month, it looks really good. Wish you all the best to keep it like this in the future. I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but I think this is sort of the purpose of this video. So here is a good example of a tank running bad. It doesn't mean that you are doing it wrong. It means that the tank is in quite a bad shape. All this is algae. Also in the grass, it's visibly full of algae. It mainly looks like a maintenance issue. We have multiple videos and articles about algae, so check those out. But this could be such a nice aquarium. The scape itself, I love it. It's perfect balance, perfect fish choice. Okay, all this tank needs is a bit of maintenance. It looks good, the hardscape is good, but it's completely overgrown, and also there are some issues that need attending. So all this, that's either already cyanobacteria or cyanobacteria is coming within weeks. These rotalas, they are growing out of their place. I think they should be put back in their place. Also, this in the middle, on one hand it looks natural, but it's not okay that it's completely hiding the pathway that you've designed. It should start from the front where you already have sand. And it did start there, I can see that, but now the plants have overtaken here in the front part. So other than that, the scape looks good. I love the blixa here on the top. It's not a background plant, but it looks perfect with the raised soil as it's sticking out. 3 years old once again, and for 3 years looking really good. I think this is a photo issue, that all this is yellow, and it's really nice. I've never seen Physidans used like this. It's like a plush carpet on top of the wood. Like the scape itself, what I don't like is this straight line. So the rotalas in the back, they're definitely really healthy, really nice condition, but they should have some shape. I would let them follow this wood and then drop, and then have them about here. What I want to highlight about this aquarium, the use of Pogostemon Helferi. I personally hate this plant, and you've using it perfectly. This is the first time ever that I see this plant in a shape and form which I like. That's a bit weird. I don't know how you got that. Like, everything up here is, it seems old, and everything down here seems young. It's just weird. It's not a problem. They're gonna grow together later on. Plant choice is good. The graduation of plants is good. The plants already look a bit overgrown. I'm not sure how you've achieved that. Carpet is developing really nice. After 3 weeks having this dense, I guess, Lilaopsis, probably. It's quite an achievement. But all the rest of the plants, you're gonna suffer keeping this aquarium clean looking. But if you manage to do it, then it actually looks quite nice. Something should go in here in between the Lilaopsis and the Rotalas to hide that bottom part of the stem plant, as you did along the whole scape. So it's perfect in here. Love the condition of the plants. I even love the hanging roots of the Pinnatifida. Issues. This line is too clear for me, so I would put either some hardscape in here, or maybe let the plants grow a bit like this, so there is a bigger transition. It doesn't look like a wall as it does now. All this, when you see on the front glass, in between the front glass and the sand, you see this black dark green stuff. That's gonna turn into cyanobacteria real quick. Clean it, clean your sand, maybe even siphon out the very front and refill again. I love how the lotus is growing up to the surface. I hope it gives you some flowers as well. Okay, here we have another example of an overgrown aquarium. Not as old as it looks. This tank definitely is lacking maintenance, lacking trimming and cleaning both. At the moment, it looks like a straight wall, and it might be just the plants overgrowing the hardscape. It's difficult to trim them. You don't want to hurt the plant, you don't want to get rid of these perfect parts. But if you don't, then this is what you end up with. This is something that resembles high-ranking competition tanks. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is a copycat. The whole shape of the tank resembles multiple aquariums that we've seen over the past few years. I love how you completely built up towards the front on both sides, and this is something that a lot of people like mess up or get wrong when they build, like as you planted this Bobitis here in the front. Most people plant it too close to the glass, so you can actually see it sticking to the glass, if it makes sense. But in here you can see that it has its space and it has its purpose. The way the plants are put in, like everything has its own space. This is very much like a Dutch style scape. I like it a lot. My only recommendation would be to hide the bottom of these plants. Not sure if the lotus here is so short on purpose because you're trimming it all the time, or it doesn't want to grow up. But for me, it would definitely add to the scape if they would be on top of the water surface. This is an interesting one for me. This is definitely a different type of rock than all the rest. To be honest, I'm not even sure if this one, the big one, is the same as all of these. This one is sticking out. So the whole scape would be really cool, but I would definitely replace this rock with something similar to the other ones. As for hardscaping, the rock placement is good, the angles are good. I love how you've built up height. I really like the fact that you didn't put stem plants in the back. Most people would go crazy with Rotalas in here. But that would take away for me in this setup. I love how you have just a bit of Reinecke in the background. Maybe I would fill this space behind the hardscape with something that's a bit too open, especially these two small holes. It doesn't make much sense that I see through them, but other than that, it's really nice. It's a perfect example of keeping low-tech nice and crisp. Maybe I would have gone with slightly smaller rocks in the front to keep nicer ratios, but it's actually not too bad. Like the plant choices, the microzorium in here makes a lot of sense, and I love how it's creeping out of the dark, of the shadowy parts. Fish choice, they're a bit too big for my taste, but they're fine for this size of aquarium. So if you like bigger fish, then obviously they're not suffering. The size is fine for them. I love the scape. I love this shape a lot, actually. If I remember correctly, 8 months old. How is the vivipara not grown in more dense? If my assumption is correct, and these are freshly planted and still growing, then I would take this one out. I would let these grow from here to here, lay over, and finish off by the side of this rock. This is 2 months old now, which makes it all okay. All the brownish greenish stuff on the rocks and even on the plants, it will go away on time. What I would highlight is this graduation is nice, but it should go higher. You want to build up like this. I always say almost fill the height of the tank in any kind of scape. You don't want this much empty space on the top. Even though I don't have the same type of cracks, I can see that one of the rocks is standing and the other one is laying. You should aim for having them the same way. So this big rock, I would put it standing like this. So like tilt it, well, 90 degrees or even more. But this one is okay. So that gives balance. That's fine. Okay, here's my man, AD from the UK. Yeah, I've seen this tank many times on social media. I don't even know how many tanks AD has around his home, but all of them have like a complete vibe around them.
No negatives?
No negative. Well, come in here and see if you see any negatives. Okay, yeah, I can give you negatives. Well, not just one, not plural. I don't like this Tillandsia. I don't know why. It's just out of the rest. Quite an old tank. Looks really healthy. I love the fish, but this is bothering me a lot. So I'm guessing there are huge leaves of microzoriums on here, and that's just laying shadows on everything underneath. Trim it, get more light on the front corner, and then it's just lovely. I don't think that this is what Josh Sim means, mixing the wild style and NA style, but sort of that's what's happening in here. This, I think, is Marsilea. I think I would have loved to see it growing over the right side as well, and then the Tenellus starting here, so behind a barrier of something smaller. The rest is actually quite good. Okay, this I just want to show because it's good. That's it. I just like this tank. This is again something I don't usually build, but I should. Okay, this tank is built by one of our customers here in Hungary, who we've known him for a long time. And he's building specifically for competitions. I love all the shapes. I love all the colors. I love the state of plants. Something is bothering me. I can show you what my problem is, but I don't know how it could be done better. My problem is this line on the very top. It's completely straight. My guess is you should have taken the photo slightly even higher. Full transparency, it is not a current layout. I have just done a rescape, so I'm submitting a photo of my last scape done in 2021 for IAPLC. I took a couple years off from the hobby after this. It was my first attempt at a competition layout and I placed 162nd. Why did you stop? This scape looks good. It looks really good. Plant placement, condition, trimming, everything. I don't like this type of fish, but not for this scape, I just don't like them anyway. All the lotuses in all the tanks are low, but why? Should be high up here, should be standing like this, sticking out. Please be critical. Big letters in the middle of the email. Okay, first critic, send bigger picture. I can't even see this. Okay, you want critical. First of all, I actually like the tank, but you've asked for it. This is too straight towards the front, but the image is not taken completely from the front of the tank. It should be sticking something like this. Leafy stuff, and don't know what kind of plant that is. It doesn't make too much sense for me, and this one either is just standing here like a saw. It's not even a bush, it's just a piece of plant. Also, your blixa, I hope it's gonna come up here. It should, to follow this main line of the hardscape. First looking at it, this tank reminds me of a specific tank in the ADA showroom. The huge moss-covered green patches and red long plants sticking out. I love this scape. I love the amount of moss. I usually don't like, I've just spoken about not covering the hardscape, but in this it makes perfect sense. That's weird for me. The hardscape work itself it's really nice. This stuff built, I don't even know from what. Maybe it's rocks, maybe it's wood. And this, and then you have this hill built up and then covering it like this, and this is perfect. But for some reason I have the feeling that I'm looking at a tank of about 50 liters and I don't know why. I love how you planted on top of it. This is also something that we've seen many times in the last few years in the competition world, and I think this is really well executed. Okay, I didn't expect this. Here is a tank that I reviewed last year. I'm missing the stem plants from this area of the tank, and there's this huge V-shaped gap behind the rocks. I see that there are some plants here on the left side which just need some time to come out. That's gonna give another layer behind the left side rock. Just let the stem plants run into that gap and you're good to go. Well, everything I said has been fixed or changed to the way I recommend. I like how you've put in some Bucephalandras that were not here in the original. What I don't like as a change, that you've had some bigger plants in here which I liked more than it looks now. I think I see too much of the stone in here. So I would like something that covers it just slightly. Other than that, it looks really well. I like the colors. Good for you. See you in another year. Having houseplants growing into the tank and out of the tank is something that I like more and more these days. I love the wood, I love the shape of them, I like the plant choice and plant size, but this again is way too straight. You would want to have rocks or wood coming into the carpet, breaking it up. The scape itself looks like a wall. Try to make the front a bit more versatile and then the rest is perfectly fine. looks really good, slightly overgrown for my taste. You can see that this wood is actually going out, and this one as well, it's going out of the water because the water level is about here. And all these bits are actually coming from above the water, and that looks really good. For your first scape, it looks great. For scape in general, get rid of all this algae real quick. It adds to the scape to some levels, but this type of slimy green stuff, that's gonna grow into your plants. That's the only reason why I'm saying you should get rid of it real quick. And again, as for the scape, it could be slightly higher in the back, or go with a smaller aquarium, because actually the scape itself is so well made that I could imagine it just in a more shallow setup. But this is very much in the middle. That's also something you want to avoid. Great use of rotalas, especially in here and here. It's really close to the front, but it's not overwhelming. The thin layer of sand I like, especially that in here stuff is growing into it, so it gets thinner and thinner, but it's still like a line of sand. Hardscape is well balanced. I like these shapes that it gives me. Seems to be a bit of algae on the wood, but it's not too bad at this moment, so try to clean it before it gets worse. If you take the energy to put in "sorry for the heater" in the email, then you could have used that energy to take it out from an otherwise nice tank. The condition of the plants is really nice, and I'm guessing that's what you're after. This carpet it might be getting too thick, so just be careful with that. For example, if this is Monte Carlo, which it might be, and it gets too thick, then the bottom of the plant doesn't get enough light, it starts to rot, and then it just floats up. The complete carpet floating up. I've seen it way too many times. It's just nice. Maybe that's Cladophora laid out and glued on top of the rocks, but it gives a nice extra shade of green to the tank. Okay, this is an interesting one. It's deeper than higher, like competition ratio, and it's being used really well. You can see the forest being built towards the back with big chunky wood in front and smaller ones going towards the back. Really nice plant use as well. This side with the reflection, it's being up perfect. It's built up perfectly. So I can't really see the line where it switches from the aquarium into reflection. Work a bit on here. Just put some stuff in here the same way you did here, and then that goes away. I love the rest. This is a 40-liter aquarium, and I would say it's much bigger. These sticking out red rotalas are a bit weird. I should see more. I mean, there should be rotalas here on the top, but other than that, great work on this one. This tank is 20 liters only, which is insane. Perfectly chosen, perfect size, perfect placement, but there has to be a but, isn't there? All this, the rotalas, well, not all, but the current shape they are in, it destroys the lightness of the scape for me. I would love to see rotalas up to here and shaped like a curve. That's it. Quite a small aquarium, and a really interesting use of Hygrophila pinnatifida. This is basically a carpet, which I've never seen this plant being used like this. I'm not sure if this has happened on purpose or the plant has decided on its own to do this. I would very much think this is somehow photoshopped. Please let me know in a comment. This is not a competition. You are not ruled out of the review if this turns out to be photoshopped. or you've used some kind of mirror inside or whatever, but that's a weird angle. Or it might be just my eyes making tricks. It's amazingly built, great use of space, great use of hardscape. I'm not even drawing anything on it. I love it as it is, really. The use of Yunsus repens in the background is bold. That plant is going to give you a lot of work to keep it in its place and in shape, but if you manage it, the current state of the tank is great. This piece of wood, it seems like it's a separate piece from this or this, and it just doesn't make sense as it stands towards the front, and I just don't understand that. I'm sorry. And another thing, this plant, it might be Aquarium Vietnam, or it might not be an aquatic plant. So if it's not Aquarium, I would highly recommend to take that out, because it's going to start dying off inside your aquarium after a few months. But other than that, I like the scape a lot. It's very well built. Okay, this tank is again something I just want to highlight because I like it that much. Can't really say anything. This is something that I would never build. This is the type of scape that I usually don't do, but I love to look at these kind of scapes. If I want to highlight anything, this plant and this plant, these are just standing on their own. Other than that, it really looks good. And I think we're gonna finish off with this one. I've actually gone through all the emails we've got. Again, I'm really sorry if yours was not included. Thank you for joining me today. Again, thank you for sending me your thanks, and see you next time. Goodbye.